So I started making pastry, sweet chocolate pastry, because we're doing a Manchester tart, which I thought shouldn't be too much of a difficult task. And then I got hungry, so I've done my tea. So this has been in the fridge longer than me half an hour. So when you put it in for half an hour, it's still a little bit pliable. So this has gone a little bit on the hard side, which is fine, because we want, like I said earlier, we want everything cold. And you can keep it in there a couple of days, to be fair. So it might be slightly tougher to roll out. Flour everything. I know I say with things don't flour, but with pastry like this, if it starts sticking, you end up in a world of pain and you make a right mess. So for the sake of a little bit of flour, obviously we're not going to bombard it with flour, but we're just going to give it enough so it's not sticking. So essentially what we're going to do first, we're going to just start to soften it. So everything with pastry is kind of a quarter turn. So rather than roll it, I'm actually beginning to spread it by just using my pin as a bit of a spreader, rather than trying to roll the whole thing to start with. So I'm just, giving it little bits of a roll, and you'll see straight away, and this isn't the nature of pastry, you'll say, oh, it's starting to crack. Well, yeah, that's what pastry does. It's just the nature of pastry. You can push it back together like that. What I do with this particular recipe, just give it a dust there, make sure everything's coated. Yeah, what I do with this particular recipe is, because I put an egg in, I have to use 250 grams of flour. Essentially, that's the minimum amount of flour I need for the addition of one egg. Hence, that's why it's as much, because it'll be bigger than the tin than I need, which is good. It's not a problem. Yeah, there's a little bit of waste, but actually, the overall kind of product that you're making needs a little bit of excess pastry. We'll come back to that. So, without further ado, let's start rolling out. And what I'm trying to achieve is as thin a pastry as I can get. So quarter of a turn, give it a couple of rolls, and there's different ways, methods you'll find of doing it. Pull towards yourself, push, whatever you want to do. Just try to keep it the overall shape round if you can. If it splits and cracks, it's not the end of the world. We're not going to lose sleep over it. This particular recipe, we're putting custard in because it's a Manchester tart. I'd be more concerned sometimes if we're putting liquid in there. So say, for example, you're doing like a quiche. Obviously, you're not going to use sweet short crust pastry, but you could use short crust pastry for a custard tart, for example. I've done a custard tart. Very nice, actually. It's Marcus Ware. Remember the Great British Menu? Marcus Waring years ago. He kind of had one of the courses at the Great British Menu, and he cooked for the Queen, and it was a custard tart. He cooked with Garibaldi biscuits, if I remember well. And yeah, the thing with that is, because he's such a renowned chef, you think a custard tart for the Queen? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is kind of the hallmark of a good chef. Somebody that's willing to do something simple but well, and kind of that's not a good chef, but that's a bit my ethos is, I'm not no brilliant anything. I kind of do bits and pieces all around, but whatever I do, I like to just put enough love and effort in that you just make things as nice as you can make them. You don't need to be brilliant, you just need to have some love, and that I'm looking for. I like fine things, so I like things not to be too thick when it comes to pastry. I don't think there's anything worse. If you're I'm not. Sometimes it may sound as though I'm being a bit critical or anything. I'm certainly not. It's what you like. Some people really like the pastry, and they eat the crust, the first bit, and other people they eat the bits in the middle and leave the crust. And what's wrong with that? Oh, I don't like too much pastry. So personally, I just like it to be fine all the way through. It's a vehicle, it's a receptacle for holding whatever we're serving. In this case, it's a Manchester tart, and I think I'm just going to touch more. As thin as you dare. just make sure it's loose and moving. That's which it's starting to stick a little bit there because I'm waffling again. Honestly, if you could get tablets to stop you waffling, honestly, you need to sort it out for me. Just send me the link for the anti-waffle tablets. However, I think I was telling you before, I had a neck operation. I had 2 discs replaced in my neck, and part of the operation when I came back round, I had a bit of a do when anyway, long story, but they ended up paralysing my vocal cords. So for 3 months I couldn't talk at all, and it's the worst feeling in the world. You think, well, probably it is. Honestly, it's the worst feeling. You feel like locked inside yourself. You can't express yourself. It's so frustrating. So I could gruff whisper, and about 3 months later, they didn't know whether it was going to come back, but it did. And here I am. So here we are. We got to count your blessings, haven't you? Every day, count your blessings. You know, there's people in this world with so many things going on, and it's a difficult time for a lot of people. But that's why I just think you've got to make the most of everything you can. Just put the best effort you can. So right, I'm talking, and I should be showing you. So what we've done, we've made our pastry, and I'm just going to feed it over the pin and just roll it. You can see what I'm doing. So let's concentrate on this. Enough of me story time. What I'm going to do is kind of pull it back over towards myself. So I'm just going to get enough to overlap the tin. So this is a fluted flan tin, and try to centralise it as much as I can to cover the whole thing. So the idea now is we don't want to stretch the pastry or tear the pastry, but if we do, it's not a problem. But we kind of want to just gently tuck it in. So I'm like lifting and pushing. Don't stretch it, just allow it as much as you can just to gently tuck it in. You know, gently tuck it in there. And we've ideally, I'm just going to pinch a bit of pastry off the side and dip it in some flour, and I'm going to show you why. One of the things you can do is use this so you're not using your fingers to kind of push it into those edges. Just push that pastry in, just gently over, and we'll just feed it bit by bit round. Let's just, you know, crack on with it. And it's not one of these jobs that just everything falls into place and you lift it in and tuck it there. It's just you're easing it in. So let's ease the other side in, and then we'll kind of, if you need to lift it up and it tears, don't worry if it tears, because we can mend it. There's no problem with kind of this kind of pastry, because we can mend things. But ideally, go back to this little bit of pastry. We need to, where it fits in the bottom, we just need to push that in. Once we've tucked it kind of into that shape, just get it over there, just gently, no rush, no panic. Obviously, we don't want to spend all day, because like I said, we need to keep it cold, and it's going to go back in the fridge, and we're not spend a lot of time manipulating it. We're just getting it in the case, in the tin, in the tart tin. So there we go, and there we go. That's getting a bit sticky, that. So let's just have a little recce round. Let's see, feel what I'm doing. So yeah, we're in the bottom there, all the way around there. That's in the bottom. Keep turning it round. So we pretty much there, nearly just got everything into the bottom. We're going to tear a bit of pastry off there and just use it round there. Just make sure it gets into that bottom corner. It's quite important that, for several reasons, especially when you put liquid fillings in. Because if you have a gap there and then you're trying to transfer something across, a gap there, and you blind bake it and what have you, and you're trying to fill it with liquid filling. Sometimes if there's a gap there, it can create a little weak point where you can get a little hole and start losing some of your filling. So experience just kind of says it's the best way, and it looks better, to be fair. It's more aesthetically pleasing when it looks as though it's filling all of its gaps. So there we go. Right, now the bottom, I'm kind of happy with that. So all we do with the edges is we're just going to get our thumbs in, not pressing hard. We're just going to press enough where it actually just goes into the flutes. And as you see, I'm not getting rid of the pastry which is on the top. I'm going to leave the pastry which is on the top, and I'm just going to allow it to hang over the sides for a reason. And the reason is if we cut that off now, yeah, when we come to bake it, it's going to shrink in the tin, or can shrink in the tin. And the other thing it can do is, if you cut it off now, especially if you're going to like bake something again, so like a quiche or anything where it's actually going to go back in the oven, that top bit that you've cut off is exposed to the heat again, so that bit gets a bit too dark. So if you do this way, and when we trim up, so any thick bits, so I've got a couple of thick bits where it's overlapped the touch, just press them in, and it's all by feel. Just you know, find your way around, feel your way around. Yeah, that's a bit thick there. That's sitting nicely. That's a bit thick there. We just tuck that in, and I'm deliberately taking a long time doing this just to show you. You know, it's worth the effort. So we're all done. We're all done. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to get myself a little fork, which I haven't got out, so you'll have to give me a second. And we're going to dock the base across. That just allows it to cook kind of more evenly, and so the pastry doesn't puff up. I don't think it's going to puff up on the base, but it's just the thing you do. Like I say, I always ask the question, there's a reason behind. I know the reason as well. It's just for the thing. It probably will puff up, even though it is short crust pastry. Yeah, it does. So yeah, we dock the base. Once you, I was going to call it tracing paper, baking paper. Remember tracing paper back in the day? We used to use that at school. Trace, I don't know what they use nowadays. Man, saying that, back in the day in my school, the toilet paper was like this. Honestly, it was shocking back in the day. Anyway, makes me sound really old, doesn't it? What I am. I'm 53 now, you know. 54 this year. Right, time matches on. That's why I've got to get on with this. Otherwise I'll be 54 before I finish this. Right, 2 seconds. Last thing we're going to do, we're just going to fill it with bacon beans. Then I'm going to put it on the, there's a spiker on there. Where does that thing come from? Fill it with bacon beans. Get it on a tray, which I've handily, is that a word? Probably not, but it's handy. And I'm going to just slide it onto there like that. Just get it all centralised. Just tuck everything in there. That's all fine. Now that goes in the fridge now, and that's going to chill down. The reason we chill it down is it's going to firm it back up before it goes in the oven, and that also is going to help prevent shrinkage. So that's going in the fridge. We're going to stop for about 20 minutes. Well, we're not actually. This is going in the fridge, and I'm going to go make some custard, which I'm going to stop this and then do that. So you'll see it on the next video. So we're going to do some custard. That's going in the fridge. So for now, I'll see you shortly. I'll see you at the custard pan. So see you in a second.